Okay guys and gals, I'm going to call this video what dietary changes I would make if I was diagnosed with cancer stages 1 through 4. A little bit about myself. I've been a living foods chef for 12 years. I have studied nutrition, holistic nutrition, independent of institutions for the last 12 years. And I have also worked with cancer patients, both stages 1 through 4, in developing a diet that would help their bodies balance themselves, become optimal, and ultimately be able to assist in the fighting of the cancer and removing the treatments of chemotherapy and radiation from the body quickly enough so that the cells that are healthy would be able to be optimal, in my opinion. Now, the reason I'm calling it what I would do or the dietary changes I would make is because I don't want the federal government coming down on me the way they did Dr. Brzezinski from Texas for saying, well, this is the cure for cancer. All I'm going to talk about in this video is what I have found to be optimal, at least for me and for some of the people I've worked with, as far as bringing their bodies back into balance, nourishing them, and giving them a lot of energy. I have seen a lot of different results from the 12 different cancer patients I have worked with, depending on their commitment to the lifestyle, depending on how far along the cancer was, depending on what kind of treatment they were receiving, depending on their mental attitude and their willingness to fight. So it really is up to the individual. But one thing is for certain, it's not medicine that heals people, it's their bodies, okay? In my opinion, if cancer is naturally occurring in the body and it's dormant, in everybody's body, and it's dormant, then what causes the cancer to flare up and spread, in my opinion, are environmental conditions of the body. And what this diet does is bring those environmental conditions back to optimization and back into balance, okay? Now let me explain to you how the living foods lifestyle, in my opinion, does that. Well, your body is supposed to be 80% alkaline, 20% acidic. A lot of times when we're eating the standard American diet and lots of cooked food, because we are unable to digest it, it's creating too much acid in the body. That's number one. Also, high sugar and also processed sugars in our diet, which are really high in our diets, cause the overgrowth of unbeneficial candida in the body, which can cause the bloodstream to be clogged up and ultimately create an environment ripe for cancer spread. Okay? So in my opinion, this diet is optimal for addressing those environmental conditions, not only cleansing out the body on a cellular level, but for nourishing it optimally by feeding the body not only pre-digested food, but food that's been blended or juiced and is raw and not cooked by any means. Okay? That being said, I want to let you guys know that none of these companies that you're seeing here are paying me to put this video together or promote their items. I'm merely using them as examples because I live in the metro Atlanta area and I have used their products and pointed people towards these companies as a means to get the things they need. Now, I can make all of these items you see here myself, and I sometimes do for people who are fighting cancer at cost, or if they are dealing with a stage 4, I do it pro bono, okay? Now that said, let me go through everything very quickly and tell you why it's all sitting here, okay? And why I would use it, all right? First of all, I would use green juices. If I had been eating the standard American diet for a long time, that means meat, dairy, high sugar, high fructose corn syrup, high salt. I would change first my diet. I would change to a vegetarian diet. I would change to go to beans for protein, nuts for protein, making sure the nuts were soaked before I consumed them. There are some living foods dishes that contain nuts. I'll get into that in a later video. But I would use these products, these green juices, to help alkalize my body, okay? Now, the Arden's Garden I go to is off of Mount Vernon Highway. If you go north on Roswell Road, you make a left on Mount Vernon Highway, the Arden's Garden there is right across from the old Target. So you'll see that storefront there. Now, the reason I go to their stores to get their products is because their juices are only raw and unpasteurized at their storefronts. Okay? Now, both of these juices contain low amounts of sugar. Okay, not even natural sugar, but high amounts of greens, and are good for returning the body back to its optimal alkaline state. They are great juices to drink alongside of a cooked food diet if you're transferring from a standard American diet to a living foods diet, in my opinion. Now, the next thing I want to go to is wheatgrass. Okay? Now, if I had been diagnosed with stage 1 through 4 cancer, wheatgrass would be imperative. Now, what you're looking at here is something I grew myself. Okay, like I said, I make a lot of this kind of stuff myself. You'll only see some companies here. Okay, the wheatgrass I would use and I would drink after my first glass of water in the morning. I would drink 20 ounces of water in the morning to hydrate my body, and I would wait 15 minutes for it to digest, and then I would drink between 6 and 8 ounces of fresh juiced wheatgrass. I would do that and I would use the wheatgrass as a blood cleanser, a cell cleanser, to alkalize my body, to take all of the minerals and all the vitamins that are in this, and basically drink it, consume it. High enzyme means high digestion. Also, I would also use it to supplement my body with the superoxide dismutase, which is like a super cancer fighter, which are antioxidant, which is this fresh juice contains. Okay. Now, there have been some people and independent claims that say that the chlorophyll from this is similar to hemoglobin in blood. I don't know how true that is, but I will tell you this: based on 12 years of drinking this stuff, I have found that every time I drink fresh juiced wheatgrass daily, and I mean, for more than just one day, that I can breathe easier, my lymphatic system cleans out, and mucus comes out of my body a lot easier, and I have a ton more energy. Now, the next thing I would drink after the wheatgrass, about an hour after juicing fresh juiced wheatgrass, I would allow it to digest for about an hour, and then I would go to drinking smoothies throughout the day, green smoothies. Now, in another video that I'm going to post, I'm going to show you how I make these, okay? And then you can do your own research as to why what I'm using is important. Now, I would drink these throughout the day. They would be my sustenance, okay? More than just one of these, probably a couple. But alongside of that, I would also eat fermented foods. Now, we have veggie kraut here that Richard Thomas's restaurant, R. Thomas Grill, makes. They're located on Peachtree Road in Midtown. I can make this at my house, but I just bought this to show you guys. These are fermented veggies and fermented veggie juice. Also, this is my favorite kombucha. It's made in Asheville, North Carolina. The flavor I like to use is the water flavor. You can get that at the Whole Foods in Sandy Springs on tap, and I get it in this growler. And then, of course, coconut kefir. Now, I would consume these things while I was doing colon hydrotherapy in order to add healthy probiotics into my body from a non-dairy source, okay? I would consume these along with the smoothies, okay, throughout the day, making most of my food consumption in the morning and during lunch, and then tapering off and making less and less in the evening. Now, there is one way you can really add probiotics to your diet. And here, I'm going to open my refrigerator and show you what I bought. This is my favorite supplement for probiotics, new chapter, Probiotic All Flora. And what I do is I take a tablespoon of this stuff and I put it in filtered water at the end of the night on an empty stomach, drink it before I go to bed. That's when I'm undergoing colon hydrotherapy. That's the way that I like to add all the different types of beneficial bacteria back into my system, because if you put this in water and you drink it, you have a higher chance of it reaching your guts, reaching your colon, okay, to recolonize it. So that way you have healthy candida as opposed to unhealthy bacteria, and that way your body can start to become more optimal. All right, that's my introduction video. I'm going to get into the nitty-gritty of this stuff and how I juice it or how I prepare it. and be blessed.